Hi.
Hey, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hope everyone's having an awesome Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We got our usual suspects here. We got Stephanie, Ashley, Blake, and myself. Jackie's not feeling well tonight, so she is not going to join us this evening. We already got some people on chat, which is awesome. We got Facebook up too, so we'll monitor all of that. How's everyone doing?
Well, good. I'm here.
Great.
I'm tired.
Many late night gambling sessions.
I'm tired.
Too much poker.
Whose brilliant idea was to go to Vegas and go on a cruise? Oh, wait. Idiot.
Yeah. I'm not going to say it.
Somebody said they love your shirt, Ash.
Amazon. I was actually responding to him. I bought it on Amazon, y'all. Make my back great again.
There's another shirt out there that says pain is just cartilage leaving the body.
Really?
I like that.
I like that one. Okay, I like that one too. Hey,
That's a nice
speaking of
shirt.
Ashley, guys,
I'm like the store. I'm forever 21.
Oh, man.
aren't you just so cute? Speaking of Ashley, I want to put a shout out, guys. So Ashley actually is in a contest. She made it in, and I'm gonna let you go ahead and do the shout out. Go ahead and tell everybody, Ashley, what's going on.
Okay, so I submitted my tattoo. This was my first tattoo, actually. It's on my rib cage, but I entered it into a contest for Inked Originals. There's 40 contestants, and currently I'm in 5th place. So I want to say the top 3, the second and third place gets $500, but the first place winner gets $20,000 plus to be featured in their magazine.
That's awesome. So, guys, Chris, can you drop the link in the comment section for everybody?
I'll do that right now.
Someone's asking, is it a tattoo you gave or got? That's your tattoo, correct?
Yes, I designed this tattoo. I actually got it done when I was stationed in Maryland. It was my first tattoo.
So it's on your body.
Yes, ma'am. It's on my rib cage down the side.
So how many do you have?
As of now, just 3.
Amateur.
I know. No, I design all my tattoos, but I plan on having 10 total.
Check the link in the description. Check the link. Go vote. You can vote once every 24 hours.
Yes.
Or if you donate, I think you can get more votes.
So if you donate, guys, you can do the freedom to vote there. If you want to vote, I think you can vote twice, but they just identify you by Facebook, and all you do is go click on it. It's super quick, super easy. Go vote for her. Keep her in the running. So, somebody said already done. So there you go.
Yes, I see that. Thank y'all.
So, please support Ashley with this, hoping that she gets number 1. We're here to support her. Some other business. As most of you know, last week we got monetized, and we're able to do donations now through our live. We couldn't have done it without you guys supporting us, subscribing to the YouTube channel, watching our videos. We appreciate it. Everything that's donated goes right back into the channel to support all the equipment and everything for us to do this. We enjoy it. We love it. And then I think just the other day, Chris?
Yeah, because we met the subscriber threshold and then the watch hour threshold. We are now getting monetized through ads as well. So that's all because of you guys. We put out the videos, you subscribe, you watch them. That's awesome. That's what we're here for. That's why we put them out. But it's all due to the subscribers that we are able to do that. So
how many subscribers do we have now?
27. Let me see here. 2784.
And we just hit 40,000 members in Facebook, guys.
Oh, we did. I was about to say we're almost there.
Yeah, we hit that, and we have 75,000 watch hours on our videos so far. So, like I said, that's all about the people watching and subscribing. So, thank you guys for that.
Yes,
we'll keep trying to put them out.
And go ahead and start dropping questions into the comments so that we can go ahead and get your questions answered tonight. While you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do the boring stuff. So just bear with me, guys. But anyways, VA claims veterans, helping veterans is not an accredited agent. We're not a VSO agent, attorney, or entity recognized by the Department of VA or Veterans Affairs. And we're not affiliated with the VA in any way. We do not assist veterans with preparation, presentation, and prosecution of VA disability claims for VA benefits. This Q&A is solely for guidance purposes and should not be considered medical or legal advice. Basically, guys, we're all veterans ourselves. Blake's got the background of medical, which helps us. Typically, if Jackie was here, she's got a little bit of the knowledge behind VA. Ashley, myself, and Chris, we're veterans. We've all learned on our own experience to kind of help everybody. If there's something tonight that we cannot fully answer to the best of our ability, we'll always ask you to email us. You can do it at any time at VACVHV@gmail.com. Be sure to, whatever you submit to us, to redact your personal information, and we'll answer and get back to you as soon as we can. We try to do it within the week within the 2 weeks of when we've taken the last Q&A to this Q&A. So,
hey, thanks, Peter.
Oh, thanks, Peter. We appreciate that. That's really nice of you. He's a great supporter of us, and I really appreciate that.
Peter's always here giving a shout out, so that's awesome. Thank you, Peter, very much.
Yeah, and like I said, share the Facebook group, share the YouTube channel, and I guess we'll start rolling. I think we've got.
I'm going to get off, and we'll get some questions going.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so this first one is from Mr. Peter. So have you guys ever heard of the VA Hotline? I found out about it this week after I was guided to call them after I had a horrible experience in the ER with one of the doctors.
VA Hotline. Interesting. I wish he would elaborate more. What is this hotline? Peter, this hotline number, Peter? So I'm wondering what experience. I'd like to know more about your ER experience. Like, was it good, bad? Did you have to complain? I'd like to know a little bit more about that. But if that's what you're referring to about the hotline, I do agree that calling the 800 line is always a good way to communicate with the VA, whether it's for the benefits side or the health side, or that VERA. In fact, I don't know if a lot of people know about VERA, but you can actually go online and create a online appointment with the VA and discuss more one-on-one versus calling the VA. So I think it's kind of interesting. Let me show this to you guys. And this right here, it's kind of becoming popular. I don't know if a lot of people know about it, but the VERA, which is the Department of Veterans Affairs Visitor Engagement Reporting Application. You can actually go in here and schedule a virtual appointment or schedule an in-person appointment. So it's really kind of awesome. And you can actually do this versus calling. So, I don't know if a lot of people are aware of that, but it's kind of interesting. And we just got another donation. Vanessa, thank you so much for the $20 donation. That is awesome. We really appreciate the support. That's awesome. Wow. This is all new to me. So, here's next question.
So this one's from a Cody Lance. Can you apply for the PACT Act if you have no symptoms?
Symptoms don't matter. Diagnosis does. If you have the diagnosis, you can apply. Now, the symptoms will matter as far as the severity of the rating and how much you get rated. If you have a diagnosis with no symptoms, then you may get rated at 0, but you still want it service connected because it could get worse in the future. Correct, Stephanie?
Correct. That's correct. I mean, with the whole PACT Act, or I guess we'll stick with PACT Act presumptive, right? Presumptive means the VA is conceding that you were in the area for the presumptive illness, right?
Right.
You still need a current diagnosis that's at least chronic. So just because just because you were over there and served, but today you have absolutely nothing wrong with you, there's nothing to file.
Right. You can't file for thyroid cancer and or a cancer that you don't have just
Right.
because it's presumptive. You have to have that.
A gastro issue or asthma, rhinitis, sinusitis.
It's just presumptive that may have caused it.
Exactly. So back to what you were saying, Blake, it's the symptoms isn't what's when the question was, can they still file if they have no symptoms?
Right. You can file as long as you have the diagnosis.
Right. You just need to. So if there's something specific under the PACT Act that you currently have a disability for that's chronic due to serving over there, then absolutely. Now, as you all know, the deadline to file to preserve the August 10th, 2022 deadline has passed, but that doesn't mean you can't file for anything per the PACT Act. You just no longer have that initial date when the bill was signed. So be sure to still get in those intent to files, also known as an ITF, and preserve that year to file any and all claims. And just to make sure, everybody, there's no difference between a PACT Act claim and a claim.
Right.
File a claim.
No, there's no different form. It's the same form.
Yep. All right. What's our next question?
Okay, this next one is from Tracy. Do you know how I would submit my records for community care therapy to the CMP examiner if my therapist won't give them to me? Thank you.
Yeah, you need to fill out a record request, and it needs to be sent to the VA to be put on your file, not necessarily to the CMP examiner. CMP examiner will get every record that is filed, and if they refuse to send records, then that is that's a big problem because they can't. Now they can refuse to give them to you individually, but they can send them to.
You know, Blake, I have a question about that and I'm going to touch bases on that, Tracy, because I'm out in the community for a lot of my appointments. I've never had a problem going to my community care provider and saying, hey, I need a copy of my records, because 9 out of 10 times the VA doesn't.
Psych records are a little different.
Okay.
Because, you know, there are things that your psychologist or your therapist may put in your records that they don't necessarily want you to see because that could put you over the top on something. But they do need to convey that to others that may be seeing those records.
So it sounds like she's seeing a community care therapist, but wants to make sure her CMP examiner, and I want to touch base on that. The CMP examiner is still going to see those notes, Tracy, because if you're filing for a claim for mental health, all those records have to be available to the examiner, supposedly, right? Does it always happen? Not all the time, but you're doing your due diligence. I understand what you're.
When you filed your claim, you signed a release for medical records, they should have requested those from the therapist.
Yeah,
that's part.
Now, and also, if you have a premium account on My Healthy Vet, you can actually pull up that blue button record and see literally everything that the psychologist said about you, things that you might have said to them. I cried. It was like 300 and something pages. I sent them all to Jackie, but yeah, I mean.
But that's if you're seeing a VA doctor. Tracy's seeing a community care doctor. So we can't see those through our VA Health blue button like you're talking about.
You can't?
You literally have to get all those records from the community doctors.
They have to send them. They have to send them in.
They'll be in the blue button, though, won't they? If you get them put into your record.
I was thinking that because when I had talked to when I was going through my stuff with Andy and I had spoke to someone community care, there was notes from her in there. But
Which
she sent me to the VA to get like gas cards and Kroger gift cards.
Right. But typically, yes, Chris, if you go and take your records to the well, not release of information. Is it release? Not release.
medical records.
Yeah, and you say, here, put these in my medical records, then they will.
They should show up in your blue button.
They should.
Only if you put them in there.
It's called self-reporting.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, which brings up a good point that occasionally gets brought up in the group about the ownership of medical records. They are not your records. They are the doctor's records.
Oh.
They may be about you, but the actual physician owns the record.
Okay. Okay. Hey, can you put up big B's right there to touch bases on this real quick? Why do not HIPAA laws apply? Blake?
HIPAA laws do apply.
Okay.
Why do not HIPAA laws apply to what? That would be my question. HIPAA is Health Information Portability Accountability Act, which means Accessibility and Accountability Act.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, HIPAA says that they can't speak to anyone else about your records unless you request it. If you're requesting your records, then they can be sent.
Okay. And Chris, just to keep on this subject, there's one from Corporal about hidden from the VA. Do you see that one?
Is there anything hidden from the VA you can't see on Blue Button?
Not that
No, not that I mean,
Not that
mine
I
was
know
like
of.
335 pages.
Only thing I remember that would be redacted under the VA Blue Button is when you went to a CMP exam, they now redact it for 30 days. If you go to the VA doctor and you have a CMP exam, I don't think you can see it till after 30 days of that exam.
Now, your CMP exams that are done by outside contractors, they do not show up in your Blue Button.
Yeah.
They'll only be in your C file.
Right.
Okay.
And that's a whole nother thing. C file, what he's talking about, guys, is your claim file. Anything you file with the VA for any claim, everything's going to be in your C file. And keep in mind, every time you file, your C file changes and updates.
Yeah, there are some VAs that still do their own CMP exams, and some specialties that still do it.
Yep.
But I'm going to say 90% of them get sent out to a contractor like what is it? VHI,
LHI, VES, and QTI.
QTC.
Yeah, QTC.
Yeah.
QTC, LHI, VES.
They get sent. The majority of them get sent out to them. They used to get sent out to other contractors, but those companies have all consolidated, pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
When I was practicing, I used to do them on occasion.
Big B was saying
I'm dropping the video in for the C file if people want to know about that. It's in the comments.
Big B was saying mental health. I think that's what he was referring to, Blake, when he put in about the HIPAA. He was asking about the HIPAA.
Still, mental health is still your health record. It goes in there.
Okay.
Anybody who has access to your health record. Now that is when you say that is one of the hazards of being in a large system, means that the receptionist has certain access to those records, or the nurse, your primary nurse has access to all your records from everybody that's seen you.
And just in case anybody listening, Chris did drop the video, guys, on how to obtain your C file, and then there's another video with that which is in there about what's in your C file, which is your rating code sheet. Very valuable information in there. All right, so
but part of the
I want to put that one up there because that's a good one too.
that's a good one too.
Part of the HIPAA thing is, let's say that your doctor's nurse lives across the street from you. When she works at the VA, she understands what HIPAA means. She can go in there and she can see that, let's say you have something horrible. You have cancer and you haven't told your family. She can't come home and tell your wife
Right.
you have cancer. She can't tell anybody outside the VA. She can't talk to anyone that doesn't have access to your records.
Thanks, Chris. Read that, Ash.
Okay, so I guess what I mean is, don't you have a right to all your medical records under HIPAA? And you said not mental health.
Well, you do. The mental health, you can get them. Very few people are going to request their records for mental health.
I have all mine.
Yeah, but not a whole lot in there.
Now I'm wondering if he's referring to like the question that they might ask, do you plan on harming yourself or someone else?
I think he's referring to what Tracy was asking. Her original question was, can she obtain her?
She can. She
Right.
can. A lot of times, like I said, mental health providers will not give them to the patient, but they're more than happy to send them to another provider.
Correct.
And let's say I'm the provider and Stephanie's a provider and Ashley's the patient. I send Ashley's records to Stephanie as another provider. Ashley cannot then ask Stephanie cannot give them to them because they didn't come from me.
Right.
And I'm going to answer it so we can finish and close this out and move on, because I know we're getting a lot of questions. But to Big B, I'm a firm believer, just like Ashley is. I believe in having all my records, accessing my records, making sure they look thorough and accurate. So just stay on top of your records. And if you think there's something that you should be requesting, request it, because at the end of the day, it's your medical portfolio that you're trying to.
If nothing else, request it be sent to the VA so they can get it in your file. And
this is mine.
Chris, Peter answered us back about the ER doctor wouldn't get me blood work for tick bites. He became abusive to me, and I called the patient advocate and the Christ line. Excellent. I am a firm believer, a patient advocate myself, because I had to go that route a couple of weeks ago. Good work, Peter, because you are your own best advocate. And if you're not getting the proper care, patient advocate is your link. Now, obviously, we want to do a chain of command, right?
Chain of command, and also blood work for a tick bite is not necessarily an emergency room visit. That can be done through your primary.
It can, but if he needs to, I guess you're gonna be the advocate for the doctor's side, right? We're the patient.
Well, you're not gonna get, more than likely you're not gonna get that lab work back while you're in the emergency room. The emergency room is geared to take care of those things that they can take care of right now. I'm not going to order lab work on you that's going to come back in 4 days.
Right.
Because you're not going to be unless you want to stay in my ER for 4 days for me to treat the issue when it comes back. And
Tracy, just to finish this up with Tracy, is she wanted to make sure that the C&P examiner sees her records. So again, Tracy, if you're going through a claim and you're concerned about anything being seen for your claim, do not focus on the examiner seeing it. Focus on the rater seeing any and all potential evidence to support your claim. So if you have anything that needs to be seen, make sure it is seen by the VBA. Yes, you do want the examiner to see it, but keep in mind, sometimes the examiner is only there to focus on a few things, where you may be thinking they're going to be wanting to focus on a bunch of things. The rater may only have a few things they want them to focus on. All your evidence should be submitted to the VA for evidence review.
And that stuff takes time. I file my claim today. I might have a C&P exam in 2 weeks, and there's no way my provider had time to get my records to them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. All right.
Okay, so this one's from Mr. Tim Robertson. So I recently opened a secondary sleep apnea claim diagnosed after the military related to my weight gain as an intermediate step to my knees condition, which is service connected.
I've been hearing this getting approved a lot.
I had a private Nexus letter and a complete DBQ, and at my CMP exam, it was flat out denied. Notes from CMP exam have not hit my blue button medical history yet.
So what was flat out denied?
Yeah. CMP examiner can't deny anything.
Yeah. Raters deny. Examiners opine. So it sounds like the CMP examiner is not agreeing with your private DBQ that your sleep apnea is due to your gain weight of your service-connected knee disability. Did I get that right?
Right.
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
And I've seen where a number of people have used obesity as an intermediate step, and
Some win,
some win, some don't. The vast majority of them, I'm going to say, don't. But
yeah, I mean, it's so I guess where you're at this point is it hasn't officially been denied, correct, Tim? So what you're going to have to do is wait for the official decision, then read the decision and go from there as to, okay, it says correct. It was the rater, but it was denied within. Okay, so it was denied. Okay. So basically what you're going to basically is the probative weight didn't hold with your private DBQ versus the CMP examiner. So now you're going to have to appeal it with either new evidence
or an HLR
and argue that, which is very hard, or go to the judge and take the entire denial and present it to the judge and ask the judge to go ahead and review it and potentially grant it and remand it back to
the other question on that is your Nexus letter. Did it come from one of the VA known hired guns?
That was my next question.
He put in a higher level review.
That's almost a bullet to the head.
Okay, well, who was the private DBQ? That would be that's our question. Did you pay for it, or was it your actual doctor? Because unfortunately, so many of these hired doctors that are putting out these Nexus letters are just terrible.
Telemedica?
Yeah, that's paid for.
That's one of the hired guns.
Yeah. Who wrote that? Yeah, I mean, they'll write whatever they. I'm going to be brutally honest with you, Tim. They'll write whatever you want.
Yeah.
For price, it's you've got to have the substantial medical evidence to support it.
Well, here's the problem too: is that they don't write it necessarily specifically for the person they're seeing. They do a lot of copy and pasting,
and then just take
out
the names.
They're not looking directly at you, saying, "All right, this is for this person."
Okay, Nancy, I'm going to answer. Look at Nancy's question. It costs $1,300. Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so to Nancy's question right there, how do you get a Nexus and DBQ? Watch my 3-part video on a Nexus IMO that Blake helped me put together and as a post in our group, because I beat this dead horse to death, but I'm going to do it again. You don't need to go out and pay for a Nexus letter, veterans. You don't. I understand you're frustrated and that you're saying your doctors won't give you what you need to give you that Nexus. But really, all you need is to sit down and have a conversation with your doctor and say, look, I have A going on and B going on. Do you think A has caused B or aggravated B? It only takes a few sentences from your doctor to say, yeah.
If they say yes, you ask them to please document that in your chart and their medical, why that is their medical opinion.
And
That's
here's an example. Here's an example. Erectile dysfunction. I'm going to talk about this one. Lower back disability. A male veteran has a lower back disability, nerve. Okay. Goes to the urologist, is having issues, things like that. The urologist will have a conversation with that veteran. They'll put their notes in there. All right, you've got ED. What caused it? Okay, this is what caused it. A few sentences. Just like Blake said, a few sentences in your medical record. That's all you need. You do not need to go out and pay these people hundreds and thousands of dollars, because all they are fluff. I can't tell you how many times we've seen 8 and 10 pages of copy and paste Nexus letters.
And yes, you'll find veterans out there that say that's the reason they got it. But even a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
And you know what?
Drop the link in there for the part 1 of the series, which will get you to part 2 and part 3.
And
and this is not going to make me very popular on here, but a lot of times your doctor doesn't believe that, and just because you believe it doesn't, or the vet doesn't mean it's so.
Right. And here's Tim's. My problem in Bradenton, Florida, it takes 2 to 3 months to get to see the primary VA doctor. Tim, let me tell you this. You have to have patience. 1. 2, you should be seeing a sleep doctor. I understand you got to get to your primary to get to a specialty doctor, but you should be seeing a sleep doctor to find out about your sleep apnea. So to me, I'm going to kind of go off the cusp right here with you, Tim. Do you even have sleep apnea diagnosed? Or did you just go out and buy the Nexus DBQ and somebody just said, yeah, you have it? That's where I've got the dilemma here.
Well, and the other question I have here on that is, if it takes 2 to 3 months to see a primary care, the VA has a duty to get you in within 30 days for primary care. If they do not, you have the right to ask for a community provider.
And
now,
I'm in Florida too, Tim. And
once a year, you have to renew that authorization. But you can find an outside provider and stay with them.
And Tim, I would absolutely, if it's taking you 2 to 3 months to get a primary and you can't get through the CBOC, okay, all right. He was diagnosed in 2019 by Bay Pines and he has a CPAP. Okay, so you've got the diagnosis. Okay, you just have to link the diagnosis, which is obviously the issue that you're running across. And
the other question I would ask is, how long a time between the time you got out and the time you were diagnosed with sleep apnea was there? What kind of gap between service and diagnosis? Because yes, your knee may prevent you from exercising, but it doesn't prevent you from feeding your face.
And listen, Tim, we're going to have to move on, but I'm more than willing, and so is the team, if you want to email us the decision, redact the decision, show us the Nexus, be more than happy. Yes, you've been out 27 years, so it's not going to get a primary. You're never going to get a primary, obviously, so you're trying to get it secondary. But like I said, we got to move on because we've got a lot of questions pending. But if you want us to look at it, feel free to send it to us at our email, redact your personal information. Be happy to look at it and give you some brutal honesty, because that's what it's all about. All right, what's our next question, Chris?
Okay, this next one is from Vanessa. So do I need to upload my blue button report when I upload a new claim? Because I went to Dell Gaffram Foundation and told me I did not have to upload the blue button, but I told them they needed to.
Okay, Vanessa, you are your own best advocate. So if you have a claim pending and you have any evidence that you think is going to warrant to support your claim, you dang well better provide that information. I don't care what anybody tells you, because all you're going to do is sit there in hopes that that information gets uploaded. Mm-hmm. So if you have pertinent information, and I'm not talking about hundreds of pages of medical records, narrow it down to what you filed your claim for and the evidence to support it, and file it.
That's like someone in the group asked the other day, I have this evidence. Should I present it now or should I wait until I need it for an appeal? No, give them everything they need up front.
Right. And I'm also a firm believer on the VA 21-4138, which is your statement in support of claim. Provide your own statement to support your claim. All right. Next. Oh, these are good questions. Oh,
the next one is from United States Marine Corps, Big B. So just an opinion question. Do you see the PFAS legislation going the same way PACT Act went? PFAS legislation.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know.
PFAS.
I'm in the dark.
Search it.
Are you going to search it? All right, we're going to come back to that one. Chris, put another question up. We'll come back to that question while Ashley's looking it up.
Might have something to do with the Camp Lejeune water thing, but
PFAS are found in water, air, fish, and soil at locations across the nation and the globe.
Well, some of that already falls under PAC.
Some of it
It's
does.
per and polyfluoroalkyl substances.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just
Yeah.
like the PACT Act, it's going to have to go through a bill and get approved. I mean, it could. The answer is possibly, but as of right now, I haven't heard anything on that. Per and polyfluoroalkyl substance are chemicals that resist grease, oil, water, and heat. Forever
Yeah,
chemicals.
Mr. Mark said from the fighting foams.
Oh, the foam, firefighting foam.
Oh, the new. Okay, Big B. All right. Yeah, I have heard that floating around, but that will obviously that's going to take time.
That'll be
Yeah,
another.
that's brand new. That just started coming out.
That'll be
Thanks,
another
Mark,
10,
from
that'll
Fighting
be another
Foams.
10
Okay.
years. The forever chemicals are you get in Teflon.
Yeah, I agree with that stuff too. But you know how Congress and all these legislations, hurry up and wait.
Right. All right, so this one's from Corporal on Duty. So what happens if, say, you're rated for mental health and then something happens that's not service connected, that exaggerates your mental health issue? How does that work with the VA?
Your mental health rating is a rating on your mental health. And if anything, it kicks it off and you need to file for a higher rating, you can do that. It doesn't matter what exacerbates it, whether if you have PTSD and something totally different happens, let's say you get sexually assaulted and your PTSD has nothing to do with sexual assault, but it makes the symptoms of your PTSD worse, then you can get an increase on your PTSD from that.
Just think about that. Anytime. Now, here's the kicker too. You know, normally if you're like 70% mental health, the next obvious stage is the max at 100. So you have to be very cautious when it comes to mental health, because mental health is one of the major disabilities within the VA rating that can be proposed a reduction, can be increased, and can stay the same, because our mental health sometimes do get better with therapy, medication. Doesn't get cured. So you just have to, but like what Blake said, if it does get worse, file for the increase.
If the symptoms get worse, it doesn't matter what the cause of getting it worse if you're already rated.
Right. And then there's also secondaries, but that's a whole other story.
Okay, Mr. JC. So how do I know if my disability is static or not?
We put the link, right, Chris? Chris?
Yeah, we put the rating code sheet. It got buried, so I can go.
Okay.
Post it again here. I got it right here.
We'll refresh it for you real quick. It's your rating code sheet is basically your document within your claim file. It will tell you what is static, what has a future exam, what each time you've been rated for, the percentage, the month and year. If you got an increase, it will show that. It will show your SNCs if there are any on there. It will show your bilaterals. So your rating code sheet is what you really want. And I'm not talking about the one where you call the 800 number and they email you this other piece of crap, because that ain't it. This one is contained within your C file because it actually is your ratings from your claims. And it also shows not service connected.
You have to request your C file.
Yes. And that's the link right there. Watch the video. It's a FOIA request. It takes a little while to get it, folks, but it's well worth it.
Okay, this next one is from a Facebook user. So I submitted my claim January 2023, finished all my CMP exams April 2023. Since then, no update. Called today and they said they are working on an internal request. They told me the date of expiration of the request is today, 8/23. What does that exactly mean and what can happen?
That means that is an internal note. It has nothing to do with you. You're going to see a lot of these internal requests all the time while your claim is being developed and processed. It could be anything from the VA's requesting medical records, the VA is requesting a CMP exam. The VA has already requested the CMP exam, so now the request is no longer needed. So you'll see words like no longer needed. All of that has nothing to do with you unless they're sending you some type of document that they need you to fill out or are requesting information from you. So that really basically means nothing to you other than the VA is working on your claim and processing internal requests within the VA.
And remember, the average time right now is about 5 months for claims.
Yeah, and that's on a good day.
Yeah.
Okay, corporal on duty again. Does doing a CMP at a VAMC carry more weight?
No.
No.
Nope.
CMP is a CMP.
All doctors are doctors, regardless whether they're contracted.
They all fill out the same paperwork.
Yep.
I personally prefer the contracted one, the VES, LHR, or the QTC.
I did too. I did too. I didn't
Because
have
half of them aren't veterans, and they're just, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
See,
Okay. Next question.
Okay, I'm going to put this up there. Hopefully you guys might know what it means.
Mr. Mark, why do number 4 and number 5 say deferred for the following information: VA examination and medical opinion?
Oh, that's an internal request.
Mhm.
So he's obviously got, so claims 4 and 5 have been deferred. Excuse me. Let me clarify that. You have claims that have been deferred for further development for the VA examination and medical opinion. What that might mean, and was that Mark? I didn't catch the name. Was that his name?
Yes, ma'am.
Mark.
Mr.
What
Mark.
that might mean is an ACE review. That means where they might just be asking a medical opinion without you needing to be present for that exam. They may still ask you to be present. They may call you to ask you questions. But 9 out of 10 times when I see claims deferred for a medical opinion, it's typically because the VA is asking because they've got some conflicting medical opinion. What do you think, Blake? Is that
yeah, and if you have a Nexus in for one of those claims, it could be the rater requesting from one of the in-house doctors to say, you know, is this Nexus legit? Is it full of crap? Is it one of the cut and paste? You know,
or they've got right? They've got one negative, one positive, right? And they've got to kind of
they want somebody to break the tie.
To break the tie. So that's what that means.
All right, let me see. I think we've kind of hit this already, but
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What are the ways to see if your 100% PNT requires a future exam?
Well, first of all, if you're 100% PNT, you have no future exams. This has been going around our group lately, and I don't know why. There was a big argument about this. If you're 100% PNT, that means all your disabilities are static and require no future exams, which means you're eligible for Chapter 35 benefits, CHAMP VA for your dependents. Yeah, so there's no future exams. Now, if you're 100% PNT and you go to file a new claim, you could subject yourself to having your disabilities being reviewed.
Particularly if that new claim is a secondary to one of your
right.
And that basically answers Mr. Peters' question as well. He had asked, is a permanent and total rating changeable? Mine's at 100%.
And that also, okay, mine is 100. Okay, so we'll touch on that. If you're 100% total and permanent, Peter and all the other folks listening, your main thought process here is how long have you been 100% PNT? Because what a lot of veterans are looking out is to look, and this is where our 3-part's going to come up here. I swear we're going to get this done, guys. We've just been really super busy. We're going to be doing a 3-part on DIC benefits and all this stuff. Is if you're 100% total and permanent of 10 years or more, and you were to pass away, then your surviving spouse is eligible for DIC benefits. However, if you're not 10 years or more, but you die from a service-connected disability, then there's still potential DIC benefits. Or if you've been out of active duty 5 years. So I know a lot of veterans always want to ask, am I protected at 100% P&T? The answer is no. The only way your ratings are protected with the VA is under the 5, 10, and 20-year protected rule ratings. That means the longer you're rated for that disability, the better. However, when you're 100% P&T and you're not doing anything other than going on with life and doing your treatments and doing whatever, you need to do for your medical, then don't worry. And the other thing that the buzz is going around is the PACT Act claims. Oh, I'm 100% P&T and everybody's telling me don't file any claims. Well, Blake, myself, Ashley, Chris, if you have something that's life-threatening and it's due to serving because of the PACT Act bill passing that disease, illness, file. But if it's just asthma and you're 100%, I don't know. I guess you could die from asthma, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's a bad one. What,
Well,
like IBS?
Let's say psoriasis. If you just have a skin issue that's not going to kill you, but it's really uncomfortable, you're 100%. You're still going to be getting treated for it. The only way I would file if I am 100%. The only way I would file for anything new is if it was something that was life threatening.
Right.
And that's it.
And Jackie touched on this a couple weeks ago because I was always like, yeah, just leave it alone. Right?
She thinks file for everything.
She does. And she's like, that's why they put this PACT Act and passed this bill, because of these issues that you veterans served in those areas have gotten. So that's why, but I understand a lot of veterans are concerned. And hey, Vanessa, I just put that link real quick for you for the DIC benefits. That's just a quick one from the VA. But like I said, we're going to do a 3-part on DIC. We're going to do funeral and death benefits. We're going to do wills. We're going to do a whole bunch of things. I promise. I'm just
sorry. We've been traveling, so it's we'll get to it. We're going to get it.
It's going to be good. I actually did it. I actually did part 1, but we kind of had a blooper moment. But anyways, so to answer, to end that and move on, 100% P&T means you're permanent and total. You don't have any future exams. You want me to answer? You want me to do the question?
I'm sorry. And Handy's yelling at the cats. Okay. So this one's from Nancy, rated 10% for Perennial brevis tears, both feet, multiple surgeries on both, braces on both feet, now plantar fasciitis, flat feet, Taylor's bunions, bone spurts, Achilles tendons. Should I file again?
Probably for an increase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot going on, but there might be some secondaries or potential additional claims there, Nancy.
You need to sit down with your podiatrist and ask them what they feel is what they feel that your perennial tendonitis is causing.
Yeah.
Or aggravating.
She had some other things like bunions, those can be rated. What was the other one? Was it flat feet? That could be rated. Yeah, all of that can be rated. The question is, because I have a lot of feet, ankle, and toes, and you got to keep that in mind that those are all different disabilities, guys.
Yeah. And the question is, are they all related to those original tears that you're already rated for?
If they
are, that's all set. They're all secondary.
I mean, I would put an intent to file for now. Put it in.
Then I would sit down and have a very long heart-to-heart with your podiatrist.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, LG, do you guys know about CRSC stuff?
Yeah, the combat-related special.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Well, I don't know what his question is.
I searched it. I didn't know.
Let's
Well,
know
I
if
mean-
we have anything out on it. Do you have a video on it?
Oh, do I have a video out? Oh, I don't actually. That probably would be a good one, LG, to put out, because that one always gets mixed up, the combat related special compensation. I don't, but I could put that on my list. That would be a good one. I mean, that would be a good one to put out. If you have anything specific to ask about it, LG, put it. Oh, I think he's asking right here, Chris, this question.
That would probably be a good one. That needs
Could I
somebody-
please email y'all to see if I'm on the right path concerning a claim for sleep apnea? Medically retired in May and was diagnosed in service, but I have insomnia, rhinitis, etc.
Go ahead, and if you were just medically retired in May, yeah, you were medically retired, LG, which means you didn't do your 20, right? You got medically retired and wasn't diagnosed. Yeah, go ahead and email us, Chris. Pop up our email. Go ahead.
That's one that Jackie may need to weigh in on.
Yeah, go ahead and email us that question and give us a little bit more in depth about your medical retirement and all that good stuff, and then we'll get back to you on that and get back to answering to you, LG.
He did 21 years.
He did 21 years. Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Then I see where he's going with the CRSC. So, and whatever else, LG, you have a question about that as well, dump that in there too, because Jackie will be our go-to on that as well. We'll try and get your question answered. I think I know where you're going with that question too.
All right. This next one is from Ms. Jerry Haven. So, with 1 in 4 women reporting sexual abuse, MST, in the service, why is this not a presumptive claim? Many women have never reported the incident for fear of retaliation.
Okay. First off, it's not just women, Jerry. There's men. So we have men and women that are either sexually harassed or sexually assaulted. I understand. There's no presumptive to service for this sensitive claim. I see where you're going with this because of, I mean, I'm an MST survivor myself.
Me too.
Yep. And Ashley is too. And we have many men in our group that are MST survivors themselves. I mean, I know one thing they were trying to do, Jerry, and I don't think this is ever going to happen, is they're trying to pass a bill. It's been presented to make service connection from when you got out. For example, if you got out in 1995, but let's say you didn't file for MST for 15 years later, because most people don't, they're trying to say that everybody should be service connected because it was due to service, right? It was while we were in service, and it should be effective from the date that we were in service and got out. If that bill is to ever pass, I don't ever see it passing, but that would be a whole snowball of effect, because that would be back paying people, 30-year claims and things like that.
That would double the debt.
Exactly. I understand. And it's still to this day, Jerry, is very rampant. I have family that are MST survivors that were just recently out of the military, and sexual harassment and all that. And unfortunately, it's unfortunate. And, but it's also nowadays people are stepping up more, which is good, and coming forward. I'm getting a lot more men, but to make it presumptive, I just I could never see that actually being a presumptive. Could any of you?
Nope.
Yeah.
That would almost be like presuming that every female in the movies got their part because they slept with somebody.
Right. But yeah, definitely a sensitive subject. But all right.
All right, I'm going to copy and paste one from Facebook. For some reason, I don't see it up there. So let me get this up here.
Oh, I think Cody just posted that. Scroll up a little bit.
I'm seeing it from Heather on Facebook.
Cody, right here. Why is it so difficult to secondary connect sleep apnea to PTSD?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heather had posted this previous, but it's not coming up in here. But anyway.
Well, I'll touch it. I know Blake will touch medically because it's a physical manifestation.
What was the question again? I'm sorry, I was.
Why is it so difficult to secondary connect sleep apnea to PTSD?
Right. Oh, that's because 99.9% of it is physical.
It's physical.
If you've gained weight, if you have, there are 15 risk factors for it that are more likely than not to have caused it than PTSD. So unless you don't have any of those risk factors, and PTSD is your only one, that's going to walk you in with it. But other than that, you've got to prove that the PTSD is more likely than any of those other things. And again, like I said, weight gain is the biggest one, especially these people that are coming in 20-something years later and claiming apnea to it.
Right. That's what Corporal on duties just said. Time after service, probably.
Yeah, because we all gain weight as we get older, and age is a contributing factor. Being male is a contributing factor.
Don't you normally just start sleeping worse as you get older, or
to a certain extent? Yeah.
To a certain extent.
But I mean, to go back to your question, Cody, is your question was, why is it so tough? Because it's a physical manifestation. And while some veterans do get it secondary, most don't. And again, it will go back to having a strong nexus. Doesn't necessarily mean the letter necessarily, but it will. That's typically why one rater, Jackie will tell you, one rater might do it one way and another one might do it another. And there's no rhyme or reason, you know. But if you look up the causes of OSA and see that it's a physical manifestation.
Yeah.
All right. I'm dropping a link in there right now. Everyone loved Ashley's shirt.
Oh, yes. And
so
hey,
if you want it, it's just go on Amazon. Ashley's rocking the shirt that everyone seems to love. So.
And everybody, if you're just joining us and we're an hour into this, Ashley does go ahead and drop. I'll drop this real quick. Take this. Let me see if I can get this. Come on, Steph. Take this link, guys. Go vote up Ashley's art. Ashley, tell them real quick again what you're in.
I'm in inked originals. I'm in a competition. There's 40 contestants total. I'm currently in 5th place. This is actually my personal tattoo. It was my first tattoo that I got when I was stationed in Maryland. And basically the top 3, I think 2nd and 3rd gets $500. First place winner gets a chance to be in the magazine and $20,000.
So go vote her up. You can vote twice a day for free.
It's once a day. You get one free vote, and I tell everybody just do that free vote. That's what I'm doing. I'm surprised that I was out of 40 people in 5th place.
Back to the OSA question real quick.
Yes.
The literal definition of OSA is obstructive sleep apnea. Something is physically obstructing the airway. So, it's not your mind normally.
Right.
All right. Sorry, Peggy. Blake informed me that we might have skipped you, so I hope you're still here and we're getting to your question here.
All right, so this is from Miss Peggy. If I have conditions previously denied as well as new presumptive conditions from the PACT Act, can I file all of those on one form?
Yes.
You can. I will warn you that if you are filing for previously denied conditions, if they do not fall under as a presumptive now, you better have new evidence or you're going to get the same results you had last time, more than likely.
Yeah, anytime a claim's previously denied, you need to have the new evidence to support reopening that previous denied claim.
As Einstein said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results.
That's true.
All right. Gosh, we're an hour. Another question.
All right, so this next one is from Marie. Do all claims require a CMP exam?
Nope.
No. And not all claims get one because they're either not fully developed, you didn't provide enough. See, this is where the misconception is. Veterans sometimes think, or most, that they're required to have a CMP exam. No. If you didn't provide enough evidence to support a CMP exam, no. Or if you provided enough, then maybe it doesn't need an exam.
If you have ongoing treatment for a claim,
Right.
If there are some pretty straightforward things out there that aren't presumptive, and you're claiming it secondary, let's say, you have diabetes and now that is service connected, and now you've had a heart attack and you're claiming cardiovascular disease. Those walk hand in hand. The new diagnosis of diabetes, if you have it, it's not when will you get cardiovascular disease, it's you have cardiovascular disease.
Or if you file for something like your knee or your shoulder or your arm that require a ROMA flexion and extension, a physical exam, you're going to have a CMP exam, at least in person.
Yeah.
Mental health, absolutely, you're going to have an exam. If you don't get one for mental health, that means you did not file your claim to be fully developed in order to get the exam. And hey, Chris, I see that Peggy, I'm just going to put this one up there. Thank you. If I have conditions that were denied when I retired, as well as presumptive conditions from the PACT Act, do I file those on one claim? See, that's where I thought she was going with Blake. So she had previously denied claims. Now she also has new claims to file under the PACT Act. So the answer is yes, Peggy. You can file for those conditions that were denied, but as Blake and I were saying, you've got to have new evidence from when they were previously denied. Since it's apparent you didn't appeal them, it's probably lapsed over the year. So you would have to do what's called a supplemental reopening a previously denied claim. In addition, I think she's saying she has potential claims under the PACT Act.
Right. Now, those can be.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is look at your denial letter for the ones that were denied.
Yep.
Because that will tell you what you need as evidence to get them, to get them approved.
And to get them reopened. Yep.
All right, so this next one is from New Fat Boy Fitness. Any advice on how to ask doctor for a formal diagnosis for migraines in my file?
Sure. Say, doctor, do I have migraines? And
yes or no?
They say yes or no, and you say, would you please put that as a diagnosis in my record?
And if you're trying to service connect them, if you're trying to file them primary to service, you're going to need the in-service, unless you're trying to file them presumptive as an undiagnosed under Gulf War presumptive. Or if you're trying to file them secondary, what's causing your migraines? You would need that causation.
In your opinion, what is causing
logs
or aggravating?
Yep.
Yeah, then you need the logs, and you need
and if they're prostating, are they taking you out of your element during the day, such as work, family events, all that stuff.
And you need to tell your doctor all those things and ask him to please document that. Please put the following stuff in my, that I miss 3 days a month for migraines, that that when I have one, I have to lay down for 3 hours.
Right.
Yep. Okay, this next one is from Nancy. Can y'all help me with what I need to ask my podiatrist on getting the other things going on with my feet connected to my original service connected diagnosis?
You just asked the question yourself right there.
Yep.
Are they?
I gained weight after my multiple feet surgeries, and in turn, because of my gait being thrown off and gaining weight, has now caused back, hips, and knee, which is being denied as secondary to my feet.
Okay.
So you need, that's what you need to ask your podiatrist. Are these things causing this? Please document that.
I mean, if you want to have a more candid conversation, Nancy, you can email me put the email up, Chris. I have a lot of feet issues and
Stephanie is the foot queen.
I'm the
Yes.
foot queen. So
Stephanie has her VA doctor's cell phone numbers.
I do. I do. I'm not shitting y'all. Yeah. I have my podiatrist has given me their cell phones.
There's talking about a plaque going up in the VA with Stephanie's wing.
Stephanie's wing.
At least a room.
Because we're talking about my 8th surgery coming up here in October.
Oh God.
But yeah, Nancy, if you want to have a more candid, send me an email and we'll talk a little bit more and see what we can do. You're welcome. Man, we're already over an hour. Jeez.
All right. This next one is from Miss Lady DB. So what does the rating decision entitlement to a 10% evaluation based upon multiple non-compensatable service-connected disabilities is denied?
So that means if you have no other disabilities rated and you have all non-compensables, you can get a 10% rating. Does everybody understand what I just said?
No.
Right.
No, ma'am. Can you say it again?
If you are rated for anything 10% or above, you cannot get what she just asked. Put that question back up. What she's asking is, if you have non-compensable ratings at zeros, you've got a bunch of zeros, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And you get the 10%. Absolutely, yes. If you have no other disabilities rated, meaning if you have all zeros, you can get the 10%. You're welcome. If you are rated for anything else, then the answer is no, you will have zeros. I have a bunch of zeros, but I'm rated for something else.
I have 3.
A lot of people think that because they have a bunch of zeros, they'll get a 10. You can, but you can't have any other ratings. And once you do, that goes away. The zeros go, because 0 is basically a non-compensable rating, which again, you're service connected. It's just not at a compensable rating. So if you have a bunch of zeros, you can get a 10. Did you all know that?
I did not. No, ma'am.
That was a good one, Miss Lady DB.
That was. All right. This next one is from Marie Holloman. Can you file a disability and you are denied? And if you are denied, can you file for that same disability again? It would be an increase.
Can you file a disability and you're denied? Can you file for that same disability? The answer is yes.
No.
Yes.
You need new evidence.
Yeah, you need new evidence and again, it goes back to the reason why you were denied.
Right.
You have to look, were you denied service connection or were you denied a rating?
And the other thing is, did you appeal it within 1 year? Because if you are denied and you continue to appeal it, then you're appealing it. But if there's been that gap of a year, then it all goes back to you have to reopen that denied claim disability with new evidence. Because if you don't provide new evidence and you're not appealing it, it will continue to stay denied.
Right.
Do I file another claim to get to? So I think what I'm understanding, Miss Lady, is that you have a bunch of 0% ratings currently. What I'd like to know is if you would tell me what your 0% are, because you might want to be filing for increases. So I would want to know what your zeros are right now. And if you don't feel comfortable sharing that here, Chris, pop up our email. You can send me an email redacting your personal information. Let me take a look at what your zeros are. There may be a potential that you could file for an increase or secondaries. It's possible. So that would be my answer to you, Miss Lady. All right. What's our next question?
All right. This is a long one. Any member familiar with MEB appeal board, PEB appeal process?
Yep.
Yep. Familiar with this. Received my retirement confirmation and ratings determination yesterday, which are favorable, but some questions my JAG representative cannot answer firmly. I have 5 days to determine. Go ahead, Blake.
I said that's because he's they're an attorney.
Right. Keep going.
Yeah, I have 5 days to determine if I want to appeal. Deemed TDRL, main reason for appeal is to go for permanent. Is this possible or normal to go for this appeal? 2, if I appeal, can ratings be taken away or reduced, even if appeal is not to challenge ratings? And then I don't see his other.
Okay, I can answer this. Okay. Listen to me, Facebook user.
Hold on. You want to hear the other half of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
It just didn't come across all the way. Oops, that's not it. Should conditions combat-related disability incurred in combat zone be different? Mine are. First, no. Second, yes. Do either combat determinations affect CRSC?
Okay.
Looking for any clear-cut guidance.
Okay, here's a short answer. You can email me, but here's a short answer. You went through MedPed, so you obviously have been given a proposed rating. My first question to you is, the referred conditions is for the DOD side. The referred condition or conditions is the only thing that DOD is important about when you were talking about TDRL and PDRL. That means either 30% or higher is going to be medical retirement. 20, 10, or 0 is going to be medical separation. You haven't answered that question, so there's going to be a lot of questions here I'm going to throw out to you. And I think what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to email me at my email, because what I want to know, and I'm going to give you an example here. My daughter medically retired. She got 70% DOD. She got 100% PNT. That means on her DOD side, she's medically retired because she had 2 conditions that gave her that 70%. And she had a total of 100% PNT with all of her VA conditions rated. So she medically retired on DOD side, which affords her the medical retirement benefits. She is TDRL because
Everyone
of her.
Everyone goes TDRL when they're
Not everybody. Not everybody. That's not true, Blake. I have a friend that went PDRL. I have somebody that actually went mental health goes TDRL.
See, I have a condition that wasn't going to get better. Yeah. And they still put me on TDRL. 5 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's the thing. There's our answer. Perfect. You're exactly what my daughter. Don't appeal it, dude or woman. I don't know, man, woman, whatever. Take this and move on with life. Because if it's TDRL, I guarantee you, and I bet you I'm right, it's mental health. And what you will do is in about 18 months to 3 years, you're going to go through a review on the DOD side. Okay. My daughter asked me the same question. Can something be taken away? Can this be? The DOD mental health rating is the same rating on the VA side. Okay. My opinion here is you don't appeal anything. You take the 70 and the 100 and you move on with life, and you take that TDRL and you get that review down the road. Take the benefits that come with medical retirement. You got that 100% PNT as well. You've got TRICARE over here. I mean, you go ahead, Blake, because you're the same way too. So
I was going to say, take it and run.
Yep.
Take it and enjoy life. Use the hell out of your TRICARE because for you and your family, because it's the cheapest and best insurance you'll get out there.
Yep.
That's a good question. A lot of people don't know what TDRL is.
Yeah, I didn't, or the PDRL, which you is.
Temporary duty retirement list versus permanent duty retirement list.
Okay.
Say that again, Blake, slower for everybody.
Temporary duty retirement list versus permanent duty retirement list. One becomes, if you get put on TDRL, 99% of the time it becomes PDRL after I think 5 years.
Yep. And honestly, with what you've got, Facebook user, you just need to go on. There's no reason to appeal anything, fight it, just take it, move on, and go on with life. You can still work. You know, you've got your TRICARE over here. You've got your VA compensation. You know, that's just my opinion.
What my initial percentages were 50%. And after 5 years, they dropped me to 30%. But I was working and I just kept going.
But now let's touch bases real quick on that, guys. Because you got dropped, you still stayed above medical retirement at 30.
Well, that's because my condition, the minimum rating is 30%.
Right. Keep that in mind, Facebook user. 30% and above on DOD is medical retirement. It would take a lot from you to go to 70 to 20 to 10. And again, not knowing what your referred conditions were, which I'm just assuming is one of them is mental health. So, like I said, I think that's a good award, and I would personally take it and run. Man, we got 15 minutes. Do we got a lot of questions left, Chris?
Right now, I have 3.
Okay, good. All right, let's roll.
All right, so this next one is from Daryl Ellis. So I was rear-ended by a drunk driver in the United States Marine Corps in 1986, broke his arm, have a metal plate rated at 10%. He started having lower back pains while in service. Didn't go to sick bay for it. Can I file a claim for the lower back?
Well, you had an
86, that's 14.
You had an accident in service.
That's 37 years.
Yeah.
Well,
but I mean, as long as, if he has the evidence for the accident.
Claim anything you want to claim.
Right.
Now the burden of proof is going to be on you that the back pain that you have now, I mean, you're going to have to show somewhere along the line that you've been
physical therapy,
something somewhere in there. But to come out 37 years later and go, oh, by the way, that accident I have now causing me back pain, that's going to be a hard one to prove.
Yeah.
Even though you say you had problems while you were in service, what about the time that you were out of service? Did you do anything? Did you see a private physician?
Right.
With records available.
All right, next one.
Okay, this next one's from a Facebook user. So they are sending me for the burn pit registry appointment. Is this a CMP? And if not, why would they send me to the CMP department?
Well, are you going to a health exam or did you file a claim? Because the only way you're going to a CMP exam, folks, is if you filed a claim. VA doesn't send you to CMP exams.
If they're just sending you for a burn pit, it's for them to start gathering information to help vets in the future.
So if for the burn pit registry, all you're doing is helping to compile that information into the database for everybody. So if you have a CMP exam because of a burn pit disability due to presumptive, then that means you filed a claim, because those are two different things there. But it sounds like you're just going for the burn pit registry for the health sign, which a lot of veterans are going through. And guys, all that does is help give data and help the VA help you. Let us help you.
We're from the government. We're here to help you.
Yes.
All right. So, Miss Peggy again, do y'all know when the MOS noise chart came out for the tinnitus claims?
What do you mean when it came out? We have one. If that's what you're asking, Peggy. We have one in our Facebook group under the file section of the high probability, medium to low probability for noise exposure due to your exposure to noise from your work and what you did. If that's what you're asking about and you're in our Facebook group, just go to our file section and search noise exposure, and that file will come up. Oh, what year?
I do not.
They come out every couple of years with updated updated charts with new
versions.
Yeah. But the most recent one I think we have is from a couple of years ago in there, Peggy.
So join that Facebook group. Like I said, Steph always keeps a lot of different files and information in there, which is great.
Yeah.
It looks like
we got
there's one question up here. Corporal on duty ask if examiners are veterans. Yes and no.
What's the question?
If the examiners are veterans. Some
I mean, if they're a
examiners
doctor.
are. Yeah, some examiners are. Someone I was an examiner for a while.
My VA podiatrist was a retired Air Force.
Yeah, the individual that did my second CMP was a retired what was a former military physician. So yes and no. Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Okay, I see what. So Miss Lady, I see what you're posting. You're posting your zeros. So like I said, go ahead and email me those zeros in an email because I won't see this again because this is a live. If you email me your 0%, I'll look at them and give you some feedback and some information. And Peggy, I believe, was saying this. She was denied tendonitis in 94, but my AFSC is in the high probable column. A previous coworker was approved for tinnitus.
Now the question is, in 1984, did you let them know what your MOS was? Did they have that? They may not have had it in the claim. That may have been left off the claim, and you may not have told the examiner that.
And a Q, which is a clear and unmistakable error, has to show that the VA erred by law. So you would have to prove that they erred. And it's a very, very, very tough one to prove. And without knowing your entire decision from 94 and what evidence was provided in 94 and why you didn't appeal it, because it's up to you as the veteran to appeal it. There's a lot of unknown variables here.
There's a lot of variables.
Right. So Peggy, I'll throw this out to you as well. If you want to email us redacting the decision, provide the decision, let us look at that information and we can try and get back to you as well about that. And here's one more. We'll take this last one, Chris, the Facebook user down there.
All right. Facebook user, can someone have MST symptoms after 30 years if the perpetrator keeps threatening me so I won't go for disability? He was a chaplain and I was enlisted. As recent as 2022, he offers to pay someone to murder me. Yes. I would say definitely yes.
You need, not only do you need to go to file a claim, you also
A restraining order.
A restraining order.
Please.
And to talk to the prosecutor in your area.
Yes.
If someone threatens to hire someone to murder you, that is a criminal action in it. That is extortion and a criminal action in itself.
So, all right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. We appreciate the donations we got today. Again, all of those go back to the channel. Please get folks to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit us up on our Facebook. Join that as well. We try to do these lives twice a month. Hopefully our next one, I think it's going to be sometime after Labor Day, which I think will be around the 6th of September. I think it's 2 weeks from today, guys. So be sure to join us again. Then if you have any questions that were left unanswered tonight, feel free to email us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Hi, Andy.
Say hi to Andy.
Andy.
Yes. He wanted to say goodbye to everyone.
Say goodbye.
Chris, can you pop up our Facebook for Peggy?
Yep.
That is our Facebook, Peggy.
Same name as our YouTube.
Same name. Be sure you answer all the questions to join. It's pretty simple. We got a lot of folks in there. Like I said, we just went over 40,000 today in members. And it's all about, us helping each other. And that's, like I said, veterans do, my motto, veterans do better when veterans know better. And this is what I appreciate Blake, Ashley tonight, my husband, Chris. And next week, hopefully we'll have Jackie back. I know she was under the weather today, but again, we appreciate everyone.
Vote for Ashley. Don't forget to go get her shirt.
Yes. And yes, Blake, I will. And for everybody else, have a great night and you know what? Have a great Labor Day.
Yep.
See you guys.
Good night, guys.
Night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.